Welcome back to the TA stream here at Sin City Crypto. My name is David. I'll be your host for today. The move this morning, a little nervous. All right, is this a real move? Is this another fake out? Are we gonna trap some bulls here and have a long squeeze to the downside? And we take a look at where Bitcoin is now. It's on the 4-hour. So, man, I got a lot of things going on here. Let's get rid of this and let's get rid of that. Okay, so that was part of our bear pennant that we had on the 4-hour and the daily, and that kind of got invalidated. We've broken the at least my level, the 50% level. We've broken that well above that, and so that pattern to me is invalidated. But this one, I had kind of drawn out a rising channel pattern. And this, before I came on, this was like here. And so I just extended it out. And I was like, oh, look at that. That's where Bitcoin caught some resistance at around 89K. We'll call it 89. 88.8. We'll call it 89,000. We'll give it a little bit of room there for BTC. And we're starting to see a reversal in the price of Bitcoin. Now, a lot of people point to the reversal as just, hey, it's a key resistance level within this pattern. For me, 86.5 would have been the level to look out for. Once we clear that, now we didn't get our retest that we normally look for, and on the RSI we did get pretty overheated, right? We hit 77.5 on the RSI at the peak of this rally, and it looks like Bitcoin now is coming into a potential bull flag pattern, or we saw something similar back in last week, the 18th of March. We had a nice big rally, and then we came back and we found support at the bottom end of our channel here, and then we keep grinding up. Now, the bad news here, my friends, is if you're a pattern trader, you'll know that eventually what rises must fall. And so with a rising channel, rising wedge, should break to the downside. But of course, I always talk about this almost every show, and I will continue to talk about it every show because it is so damn true, especially with the president we have in office now. One post, one tweet, one meeting, one phone call, one decision could completely change everything. TA can go out the window. No one really knows the hell he's going to say, what he's going to do. We saw the markets pump earlier this morning because Trump decided to come out and say, yeah, you know, the tariff thing, we're just going to keep it reciprocal for now. All right, cool, great. Everything started pumping. And then he's like, wait, we're going to tariff Venezuela. And if you buy Venezuelan oil, 25% tariff. Well, that's like a lot of the world. China, Russia, Singapore, the U.S. itself buys a crap load of Venezuelan oil. So you just never know. To me, I know there's some TA and analysts that look strictly at charts, candles. I think this would be a good time for you to consider the news as well, because the news is what's been moving the market as the traders and Wall Street try to figure out what the hell it is that President Donald Trump is going to say or do next. We take a look. We looked at this briefly during the morning live show, but I want to dig into a little more detail here. So this is the NASDAQ. It's very simple. I got a trend line drawn, and I got the 200-day moving average ribbon. That's it. And why that's it? Well, the 200-day moving average has been a very, very pivotal indicator, really for anything, but especially for macro assets like the NASDAQ, like the S&P. I believe, if I am correct, the S&P, yeah, look at that. S&P reclaimed its 200-day moving average ribbon on the daily time frame. Now, the important thing here is this going to hold? We need to be above 57.84 on the S&P 500, close above, not just one candle, not just a wick, but a few candles, maybe throughout the entire week, trade above that level. And I'll just throw a horizontal on here, and we'll throw a flag so you guys know the exact price, 57.83. If we spend the rest of the week trading above $5,783 for the S&P 500, this reversal, we look back at this, and it ends up being one of these. It ends up being just a blip in the radar, a small deviation versus an actual break of the 200-day moving average and into a recession, which is usually the indicator of what it signals. And so S&P already broke that. Let's take a look at the Dow Jones. Same thing with the Dow Jones. Dow Jones broke its 200-day moving average as well. You see it kind of consolidated in this region. The only thing that has not officially is the NASDAQ. And so, of course, we know the NASDAQ index is extremely tech driven. In fact, it's like 100% tech driven. So tech assets trade a lot like crypto, or crypto trades a lot like tech stocks. And think NVIDIA, think Tesla, think Meta. And so we want to see this rise once we reclaim the 200-day moving average here on the NASDAQ, and we want to start trading above this trend line, which depending on where we break, you're looking at anywhere between 19,000 even and 19,300. And so you want to get above your 200-day EMA. That's your first step. And your second step is let's break above the trend line again and let's resume our uptrend for the NASDAQ. But Bitcoin looked pretty strong this morning. Now, what are we expecting? What am I expecting for BTC? Now, this is BTC on the daily. Strong price action and consolidation happening on our 200-day moving average. So this is very bullish, right? When you give up this 200-day EMA and you come right back and you chop, and not only do you chop, but you're grinding up as you chop, right? You're making higher lows. Okay, we zoom in here. You're making, so this is your low. You're making higher low, higher low, higher low, and we're going to probably make another higher low here on the daily chart for BTC. But this is what you want to see. This shows you that there is strength in the market, that the bulls are still here. They have not gone anywhere. And again, by looking at how price action has played out, but you can see here, everything we give up, we gain back. Everything we give up, we gain back. Everything we gain, we give it all back. And so, but this is a great start to a potential reversal in the overall trend. Now, for me, where does structure change on the chart? It's at 92.5. And we can go to the weekly to see this as well. Let's get rid of our MA. So this box here starts at 92.5 and ends at 100K even, okay? Now on the weekly, this is very strong. Although the one thing I will add is you're seeing decreasing volume. So that would be the only thing I'd be a little cautious of this move. Also, this is typically a continuation pattern, not really a reversal pattern. When you look at these three candles, like separate, or not separate, but you look at these three candles together, if you separate them for the rest of the chart and just focus on these three candles, you want to see this after a large pullback, which you can argue this was a large pullback. But at the end of the day, that structure was changed once we broke below 92K for BTC. But the only thing I'll add is we're seeing decreasing volume on this move up. Your three white soldiers, essentially. Although this one's body is not big enough. I'm kind of talking through this so you guys understand. Kind of the mental gymnastics you play as you kind of look through the chart and kind of take a look at how to decipher the information you have in front of you. What were traders feeling? What's the trend? Is it strong? Is there momentum? Is there velocity? Should I enter a trade? Should I not enter a trade? So I look at this. This looks good. This does not look good. Decreasing volume. So we'll see this trend overall and this is on the weekly, since we hit our bottom at 76 to current price now, we're up 15%. But again, 92.5. Let's reclaim 92.5, and then the structure of this chart changes entirely. And you can see it more so on the daily chart. And as you work your way down, the lower time frames on the Bitcoin chart. And so that's my base case. Let's see. I want to see if 86.5 holds for BTC. If 86.5 does not hold for BTC, we're probably going to go back, retest 84.1. We fail that. We're going straight down to the 80s. I don't think that's going to happen. There's just too much bullish narratives and bullish catalysts going on with Bitcoin, with the markets. You're already seeing a trend of the whole tariff scenario where people are afraid. That is starting to wane. That means less to people. Now, people aren't maybe overreacting to it as much. And when I say people, I mean the macro markets on Wall Street. We look at it, we're like, all right, cool. Yeah, whatever. It's just another news story in the day. But at the end of the day, the guys that have a shitload of money that move the markets by the billions, those guys care about this stuff. And unfortunately, it affects our market. Yeah. Dominic said, rejecting off 88K is still a lower high, which is bearish. Okay, let's take a look. So Dominic says, getting rejected off of 88K, which is where we got rejected, is still a lower high. Yeah, the high you want to take out is 90. So technically is right. But if you look at more, I guess, micro, and you look at the lower time frames, right, we are making higher highs on BTC. But again, what this is all accumulating into is a rising channel that, again, eventually breaks to the downside. So there could be anything that can happen. We can break above this thing, retest this trend line, and make our way back up to 100K. Or we can see more chop in the market. We come back. We fail 86.5 to 86. We come back down, test the bottom end of this region, which is around 85.2. We find some support there. And then we try to retest the upper end of our channel here again and either break through or fail. But the level I'm looking at is not 85, it's 84,000. And you see here, every big move we've had so far has happened around 84K. Consolidation, price dumps from 84K. We get resistance, price dumps from 84K. Here, on the way down, we catch support at 84K. Price consolidates, we rally from 84K up to $88,000. And so 84 to me right now is the most important level when we talk about, okay, are we ready to be complete bull and shift our probabilities from 60-40 to maybe 80-40 bull? Or are we going to do the opposite? Are we going to shift more bearish and go 80-20 bear versus 60-40 bear or bull, depending on where you land? And to me, 84.1 is going to be the important level. Now, obviously, there's other levels in between this level, right? The very first one is 86.5. Can we hold above 86.5, which was the last high we saw? 86.8 was the last high we got. That was on the 19th of March. Can we hold above that level? If we don't, trend line. If we don't, 84.1. Do we get more consolidation here? Once we do get that consolidation, what does the volume look like? What does the inflows look like, right? When you talk about money flow, what do the order books look like? What's the liquidity look like? So these are all things you look at key support and resistance levels. At least that's what I do. I don't know what you guys do or other traders do, but this is what I do. This is how I anticipate or try to anticipate where the move is going to go. Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? No one knows at the end of the day, but we take the probabilities with the information we have and we make our decisions that way. We make money. We lose a little bit of money. As long as we tame our losses and elevate our wins or get the most out of our W's, then you're going to make money long-term in this market, whether it's choppy, up, down, or choppy sideways. So Dominic, you're right, but also depending on where you look on the time frame, you could be looking at other higher highs as well. Mario, welcome to the center level number 1, my friend. Thank you for your support, brother. Appreciate it. Gooners said, at what point would you start deploying dry powder? Okay, so again, every question requires more context for me to answer it properly. But if I am sitting in the market and I got, I don't know, let's say $5,000 of money in there, I got a decent crypto portfolio, and what I'm looking at now is I am looking at quality. Okay, now you should have been doing this. And let's take a look at the coin market cap. You should have when doing this when AVAX was at $18. Okay, let's look at Avalanche. 7 days ago, it was at $18.81. We should have been doing this when Chainlink 7 days ago was at $14. Okay, now I know the dollar difference is not that big of a deal, but some of these other projects, now they're well within range of pulling the trigger on some dry powder. But you got to figure out, what do you already have exposure to? What is your long and intermediate term goals? What do you want? Do you want a 5X? Do you want a 10X? Do you want to buy it and stick it into your long-term portfolio and hold it for 10 years? So those would be the questions. But as far as where the market is now, my belief, we're still in a bull market. We might have a little more downside to go. That's kind of where I'm laying. That's kind of where I'm at. We might have a little more downside to go. But ultimately, longer term, you zoom out a year from now, the trend's going to be up. And so if you're unsure, what you can do is you can deploy, let's say, 50% of your capital now. And of course, I'm not giving you any advice telling you what to do. This is just my thought, my train of thought, my brain, what I would be doing. If I am unsure, but I know we're in a bull market, I'm taking half of that money, I'm putting it in now, I'm saving half and DCAing on the way down. Whether if it's a 2% move to the downside, a 5% retracement, a 10% retracement, I am adding to those projects that I've identified as, okay, I want to deploy my dry powder into Avalanche. and Chainlink and Solana. Great. Figure out the percentages, how you want to allocate them, and then take half of that amount, put it in Solana, put it in Chainlink, put it in Avalanche, do it now. The other half, have price targets, whether it's percentages drawn down or whether it's actual price amounts. So if you look at a Solana chart and you're like, okay, David, that's kind of what I was thinking. Well, what should I do? All right. So you look at Solana and that's a big, ginormous circle. So you look at Solana and you're like, all right, you know what? Yeah, I'm in the same boat, dude. I want to do it now. Okay, great. I'm going to deploy 50% of, let's say, $5,000 here. Well, what's the next level? The next level is $135. Let me deploy another 10% there. What's the next level? The next level is $127. I'm going to deploy a little bit there. And then you have I'm going to go all in. Holy shit. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And that level is between $110 to $117. So that's what I would do if you're unsure. Instead of throwing all your money in now, and then what you're going to end up doing is you're going to look back maybe 2 weeks from now, the markets have gone through a little bit more of a pullback, and you're like, damn it, I should have waited. If you do the strategy of half now, the other half DCA on the way down, or have price targets in mind, even if it does go down, you're like, all right, cool, I still have some money. Or if it goes up, guess what? You have 50% still left in there for another pullback. If we do go on and Bitcoin's at 300K, Solana's at $700, $800, $900, you wait for a 30% pullback, you add to your bag, and then you add that to your DCA ladder out. And you can still make 70, 80, 90, 130%. There's nothing wrong with doing that, but you still deployed that 50% at $142 and you're watching a 6, 7x in your portfolio. That's kind of what I would do. Instead of trying to perfectly time the bottom, just take that approach, and more likely than not, you'll end up coming out ahead and making money. Hope that helps you, my friend. I see my boy Robin here. What's up, my brother? How you doing? Speaking of oil, I bought some baby oil for something. And my son, my 12-year-old sees it. He's like, you having a Diddy party, Dad? I'm like, this fool, bro. I saw oil. I thought that was funny. BY said, I'm always happy to be able to catch you live. Thanks. I'm happy you're here live, my friend. Thank you so much. Appreciate all of you. If there's anything you guys want to take a look at, chart-wise, fundamental analysis-wise, please let me good. Adi said, Akash Network looking really good. And you know what? I'm actually just kind of a heads up. I'll be going to Solana, ETH, and I also want to talk a little bit about some AI projects and why I think this one is super, super undervalued. This is a project that ran up to, I think, like 30 mil. It's sitting at 3. And so this is, believe it or not, even at the prices it is now, this is still the people that got in when we made this call. People are still in the green if they didn't take any profit. So I love DKing, but let's take a look at Akash Network, because Akash consistently has been one of the most oversold assets on the higher time frames. And let's start, as I always do, on the higher time frame. Again, we're seeing a decent pattern here with the candles, except again, declining volume. You don't want to see that, okay? When you want to figure out, is a trend real? Does a trend have legs? Example number 1, you see here, and you don't have the exact pattern here. You don't have the exact 3 green. Okay, here's an example, okay? You see here, we've come out of this kind of consolidation phase. You see green candles forming, but more importantly, you see volume start going up, okay? Telling you, all right, there's a buildup here of bulls. The bulls are building up for a big move. And then you look at here, right? The actual big move. You're like, all right, we're starting to see some candles. You start seeing volume rise. Volume is rising as price is rising. That is what you want to see. And then at the tippy top, you see volume was starting to decrease. And that is when we had our first pullback. Now, here's the beauty of it, okay? And here's how you can tell whether a top is in or not. Is a move real or not? Is the bottom in or not? This move for Akash Network, and I'll get into the current price action here in a second, but I like to teach people, not just kind of give you a buy here, sell here, do this, do that, because a freaking AI bot can do that for you, okay? So this move here, where we saw Akash break out, the first move, 700%, we saw increasing volume. Your first sign of weakness was when volume started to drop. That is when we saw our first pullback. Now we had a second rally, essentially a second top. But the difference here was we had one spike in volume, and as price was trading up, volume was trending down. That should have been a signal that this move is losing steam. And eventually, we dropped 70% from high to low, from uber high to uber low, 84% drawdown in Akash. So that is the one thing that I will say with this move that does not have me convinced that I'm still sitting here saying I think there's a little more downside left, is the volume is decreasing as the price is increasing. And so to me, I want to see price increase. I also want to see volume increase. But for Akash Network, this is such a solid play to just add to your spot bags. To just trading, scalping, and swing trading aside, buying Akash Network. By the way, did you guys know that Greg Osuri from Akash was a speaker at the NVIDIA conference? So there's ties there. I'm a big fan of Akash Network. Now, as far as trading, we can work our way down to like the 1 hour. You saw this big spike in price with large volume, but that level we had mapped out here for Akash for a while, that $1.53 level, it was like a dead stop in its tracks. We ended up getting a shooting star candle here at the top of this, and essentially gave us our reversal signal, and prices have decreased. So we'll even take the move from here. So we found some support at our 618 Fibonacci level. So this is good. I would expect another retest of 618. So if you're looking for an entry, I would wait for $1.43. And to make it easier for you, just go into whatever platform you use, whether it's BuyDefi, MEXC. We have actually links for both. But go in there and just set a limit order for $1.40. Just go a little bit above. Go like $1.43.5. $1.43.5. Put a limit buy order. Do like a 6 to 10x leverage. And we should see a nice bounce as we did here on Akash. But again, I want to see volume start to tick up on the higher time frames. But this was a pretty big move here, guys. Right? This, and by the way, this is a hour candle. This is a 15% hour candle. And so we can hold the 618 level. We're probably going to retest at $1.54. And that is where I'd put my first take profit, 50% take profit at around $1.54. And then look to see what price does if we get rejected again and potentially form a cup and handle pattern. Right? If we do get rejected at that 53 level, $1.54, we could essentially be coming into a potential cup and handle, which will eventually break out, come back, retest this as support, and then we're off to the races. So that's Akash. Swing trade, limit long order at around $1.44, $1.43.5. Look to take 25 to 50% of your profit around $1.54 and then see what price does. If we come into a cup and handle pattern, buy the breakout of the handle. If not, just wait to get more info. As Jerome Powell says, we're waiting to get more information on the markets before we make a decision. Now, Solana. Okay, Solana was, so we had bullish div on the day. I believe this is on the daily. Yeah, we had bullish div on the daily, and we had a lot of cases of bullish divergence on altcoins on the daily time frames. And so this played out. We see a rally. Looks like the bottom was 117.59, which is right in our value area that we've kind of identified this was a few weeks ago, probably 3-4 weeks ago. And again, these levels that I never take off unless they're invalidated, $145, we tapped that as resistance just perfectly, okay? Now, we were kind of in this, and let's get rid of that. We were, and I should probably go to the lower time frame. So for Solana, we were in, let me get my trend line tool. We were in kind of this rising megaphone pattern or this rising wedge, but the range was expanding, okay? And so again, I'll say it again, anything that rises tends to fall. And so this should break to the downside. But this was an easy short here at $145. Now, where can we expect price to rebound? Ideally, you want to close above 135.50. That would give you essentially, and let's make this a different color. Let's go purple on this Yeah, let's go that. That looks good. All right. So ideally, you want to stay above 135.44. I am interested in a long here. Okay. This was previous resistance. Here we had confluence with our trend line. And then the second time, this is on the 19th. So last Wednesday, we saw another failed attempt to reclaim this $135 level. And then we broke above it with volume. So ideally, from a structural standpoint, to say, okay, I'm comfortable in a long, I'm comfortable maybe having the conversation that Solana's trend has changed, the structure of the chart has changed. I want to be above $135. So for me, a trade setup, I want to see what price does at 135. Are we going to get something like this, come back down, get a nice bounce, potentially have some consolidation and then retest that 145 region? Or are we going to come here, fall completely through and stop here at $129, which at that point, I'll be glad to put in a limit or a market order right at $129? Or are we coming down here, doing the same thing, chop, 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 volume starts to decline, we lose momentum, and then ultimately we come back down and retest that region again? Those are the three scenarios that I'd be looking out for. Depending on the market sentiment and where Bitcoin is, I think the likely scenario is this thing flips to support and we see a nice bounce and we go to retest this region again, 145. So if you are going to enter into a long at 135, have your take profit a little bit below 145.47. Whether it's 100% of your position or 50% of your position or 75%, take a majority of your profit at 145 until the charts tell us otherwise, or until there's some bullish news that comes out for Solana. But Solana, if you picked it up at $117, man, I think you're going to make a lot of money. Even at like 135, I think is a good place. I wouldn't like blow my entire dry powder load at $135 or at $142. I would do it at 110 or 112 to 117. But there's nothing wrong with deploying like 15 to 20% of your dry powder you have set aside that's already pre-allocated for Solana at these current price levels for Sol. So hope that helps answer your question. Just taking a peek into the chat. Poman. Oh, goddamn. Poman over here. Not so Poman no more. My dude, 25 gifted membership. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate all you guys' support. Thank you all so much. Aptos looking good. I'll take a look. Maybe I'll take a look at Aptos. Poman, why you don't get a membership as a drawn? He's already a member, bro. Dude's like a member of everything. All right. Let's take a peek. I wanted to take a look at ETH, okay? And so I hope Rob's still around. Rob, if you're around, close your ears. ETH, open interest. We're seeing a tick up in OI here for Ethereum. What does that mean? That means people are interested in buying it. They want to buy. And so you've seen that uptick there along with the price. And you see how kind of synonymous OI and price action really is to one another. They go lockstep, hand in hand. When ETH's OI was at its highest, that is when the price was also, well, it was trailing by a few days, by maybe a couple weeks. But as OI moves up, so will ETH's price. And I'm telling you guys, man, ETH has lulled a lot of people to sleep. We shared the news with BlackRock, their BUIDL fund, how much ETH they have. Do not sleep on ETH. If you're bullish on RWA, you cannot be bullish on Ethereum. If I may show you a chart. Sound like my 10-year-old. Ella, may you please remove your feet from my pillow? I'm like, what the fuck are you saying, bro? Anyways, how could you be bullish? Okay, you sit there and you say, I am so bullish on RWA, man. RWA is going to make me a millionaire, but I am bearish on the one layer one that has 66% of market share. Doesn't make sense at all. So just keep that in mind. We're seeing Algorand. Okay, Algorand. 6.2. This is on the overview. Treasuries is a big one here. You're talking about trillions of dollars. And look at networks. Oh, look at that. Ethereum, 70% market share on that one as well. So you can't sit there and be bullish on RWAs and then not be bullish on the layer one that has 70% market share for RWAs. So Ethereum at $2,000, even if retail doesn't come back on Ethereum, even if NFTs never make a comeback, even if Ethereum is still slow and expensive, there is a reason it's got 70% market share in RWAs. Okay. If I ask you a question and I said, if Ripple does nothing else except facilitate cross-border payments, there's no XRPL NFTs, there's no XRPL, there's no custody, there's nothing. They only do payments. Would you be bearish on XRP and say, well, it doesn't have RWA, or it doesn't have gaming, or the XRPL, no one's really using it from a retail side? No, you would still be very bullish. Same thing with ETH. So if retail never comes back, NFTs never come back. I know 2021, that was a big catalyst for ETH going from $300 to $5,000. I get it. But RWA and the potential power it has is enough for me to have some money in Ethereum and feel comfortable that it's going to get me back a really nice return. Now, the timeline, that's a different story. We know when you're talking about companies like BlackRock, you're talking about the amount of money that is looking to be tokenized and moved. It's not going to happen overnight. So do you have the patience to wait for that seed that you're planting now to grow and become this beautiful flower that is essentially a money tree? That is a question only you can answer, my friends. But ETH on the weekly, again, same thing. I mean, you guys see the trend you see on literally every single altcoin is the same patterns, the same thing. So you really want to discern from like a lower time frame, from like a swing trading or scalping. You got to go super low time frames. But on the 3-day ETH, again, we're seeing nice momentum. It looks like 1764 was a pico bottom for Ethereum, which was a pivotal level going back to the March of 2023. That is where price consolidated. We flipped that from resistance, or from support to resistance, back to support again. And it looks like it has held as support. If we lost this level, bro, we're going to like $1,300. It was not going to be pretty for ETH. But that level is held, and we've seen some we've seen some price action to the upside. But again, 2152 for ETH is what I'm looking at. And one thing to keep an eye on is volume is decreasing. So there's not a lot of velocity behind this move for Ethereum. If we go to the lower time frame, we go to the 21-minute time frame for ETH. Let's take a peek. Let's throw on our high volume delta points. So looks like tons of selling at 2100. And so I actually we put in a ETH trade at 2017, cashed out at 2082. I originally had my TP at 2144. But then I was looking at the chart. I was like, this thing just there's no volume, right? You see, again, on the lower time frame, volume is decreasing. Okay. So the move is like here, when the move, the volume is spiking. You see that one big spike. This should have been your first indication of, hey, the move might be coming to an end. And that was around 2075. So that is what I was looking at. I was looking at volume. Okay, we got the breakout of the move. I entered in the breakout. I entered around like right here. I think on this candle here. Somewhere around this candle. This was around 8:30 this morning. And I entered into that candle, and I'm looking, I'm like, all right, volume's increasing. Okay, volume's decreasing. Let me take a look. Okay, big spike in volume, and immediately we see a decrease. And then we saw another increase in the volume, and I cashed out at 2082. And I didn't hit the exact top. The exact top was around 2100, but that's okay. I don't expect to hit the exact top on really anything. But we'll see what price does now. It looks like we're kind of range bound here for ETH, and we can use our first line. We can use our liquidity line here, and then we can just draw another one. And ETH is just bing-bonging around this channel here. We can actually drop horizontal line on top of this here as well. You know what? Let's just do the same. Let's make it look sexy. Yeah, it looks real sexy. And so your price levels between $2,076, $2,100, price is kind of chopping. And you can see that range is starting to get a little tight. All right, we're can argue this is turning into maybe if we isolate this area, turning into a ascending triangle. That's a positive. And so that should break to the upside. And the move there would put us right around. Let's actually measure that move for ETH. If this does end up being a symmetrical triangle, and it won't be a super big move, but a breakout from here would be around 21.23. That would be your measured move for Ethereum. But Ethereum to me is more of a longer term play. If you're looking to scalp ETH, I'd wait for it to retrace back down to that $2,000 level, 2076. You see on the super low time frames, we finally flipped this from resistance to support. As you can see here, twice we retested and twice we saw positive price action. But again, you want to trade this channel. It's a very small channel. If you want to trade it, go right ahead. I recommend going into a little bit of higher time frames, having a little bit of patience. But there's also nothing wrong with putting in a low leverage limit order on ETH at $2,000 and waiting for that thing to make new all-time highs. Your liquidation price will probably be, as long as it's lower than $1,400, I think you'll be okay. Even a real big nasty spill off for ETH, I don't think we get under $1,400 for Ethereum. But of course, anything can happen. I could be completely wrong. Yeah, I don't see it going under this zone here. If it does, then fuck me. It would be really bad. Then I mean, at that point, I'd probably hit up Robin and say, you know what, man, you're probably right. So if you do that, as long as your liquidation is under 1,400, you should be fine. And then just ride that thing from 2,000 up to, I don't know, 12, 15K, whatever ETH's top is going to be. But as far as like a swing trade, there's not a lot of opportunities for ETH. The only opportunity I can see now is a potential short for Ethereum and look for it to catch support around 1950. But then again, there's really not a lot of money to be made there. And the risk to reward for you personally might not be there. And so... all right, I'm just peeking into the chat. If you're new, welcome. Say hello. Verhoofdy Flufen said, I'm looking to deploy powder into Bitcoin under 80K. That's not a bad idea, bro. Marius said, I lose all my money in crypto at 15 years. I don't get it. Muhammad is your mascot. I love Muhammad. Where's my dude Muhammad at, man? That's my boy. ETH to zero. Is Alchemy Pay a decent long? I'm not too familiar. I know the baseline of Alchemy. I don't have a thesis for it, man. So I don't know. Yeah, what's up with the likes, bro? Is this right? 7 likes? How is that even possible? 152 viewers and 7 likes, bruh. That is embarrassing. Oh my God. That's crazy. People are going to think this is a botted freaking live stream. No one likes it. Yeah, there's no way it's at 7. I don't know. All right. I promise you guys, I wanted to take a look at some AI stuff. So here you go. I got so mad with that haptic mouse pad because it fucking wouldn't work. I just broke it and threw it away. I'm going to order a new one. Anyways, you guys know I'm pretty big on AI, made a lot of money in artificial intelligence. So did a lot of our Patreon members and community members and our whale members too. As long as they took profit, which we always tell people to take profit, right? Don't get greedy, right? Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. Don't be a hog. It's okay to be a pig. Oink, oink. Don't be a hog and overeat. You're going to be the butcher's apple of the butcher's eye. So, but CreatorBid, very popular platform. Their Bid token launch was pretty not good. I've talked to a lot of professionals in that space that advise teams night in and day out on how to properly launch tokens, TGEs, and almost all of them said, yeah, the way they did it was not very good. But at the end of the day, the platform is still pretty badass, and you're seeing something come out of this to where. And this is something that I forget, it was Wiki from Virtual. Someone was talking about, look, I was like, why do agents need tokens? They're like, look, for example, YNE, it runs inference on certain, if it, what's it do? I'm having a brain fart. When it looks through its studies, right? When it does what it does and it looks through like medical records, medical studies, case studies, and it finds the flaws in it. It needs like money and capital to pay for the inference, to pay for what's the word? My brain is like frozen. It's like 3 days of being off the nicotine. It's like scrambling my brains. But either way, it needs money to pay for the inference of AI and running these models to be able to do what it does. So the idea is, well, we don't want it to come from the token itself, because then the people that are holding it, there's constant sell pressure. So how could we create a treasury fund to where these AI agents, especially as AI agent specific commerce comes online, and these AI agents are able to kind of connect with each other and send money back and forth, where's that money going to come from? We don't want the founders and developers and the people that launch these AI agents to have to sell the CreatorBit token or the DKing token or the AION token to fund these things. We want that funding to come from the trading activity, which is what they've done. So they've set up something called proof of sustainability. This is where there's a treasury created from the trading fees, essentially buying and selling. A lot of these AI agents have like a 0.25% buy and sell fee. That money goes into a treasury, and that treasury is what is used for the AI agent to continue to do what it does. So operational expenses covered, team funds themselves without external dependence, liquidity reinforcement, and then strategic token buybacks, which everyone loves. We take a look at this from Dune Analytics. This is on CreatorBid agents. So trading volume by agents, you see, and then cumulative trading volume. And this thing has been going up since the 1st of January. But you can see here the way it's stacked. You can see which AI agents are gaining steam. And there's 3 of them. AION 5100, DKing. Those 2 we've been talking about on this channel for 3 months. And then one I haven't seen is Sally. Sally is very interesting. I was looking into it. Sally is pretty much an AI agent for healthcare. I looked at their website. It gives you for like mental, physical health, nutrition. It's like your own AI agent. And this thing has had essentially a triple bottom if you count the wick at around $1.59, $1.60. It's currently at a $38 million market cap. But the one I think has tons of value left is DKing. This thing ran up to like $40 million. I am so bullish on this. Their team just had a meeting with FIFA, like the FIFA World Cup FIFA, to leverage some of the data and information that the DKing AI agent gets from leveraging the BitTensor subnets and watching the games. You have this AI agent. They're actually tracking the movement of the players in real time, using that data and finding arbitrage opportunities in the sports betting markets to make money. It's pretty insane. I'm super bullish on this project. Not sure about this one. And then AION 5100, super bullish on that too. I'm telling you, man, the next wave of AI agents is coming. You'll see blue chips rise to the top. Vaporware will trend to 0, and you'll see a new slew of AI agents come online, garner excitement, garner a lot of price action or a lot of inflows. People want to spend money on this stuff, and AI is going to continue to be in the limelight. There's resources that are going to continue to be put to artificial intelligence and AI agents specifically. And so keep your eye on CreatorBid. They do have their own token, but keep your eye on DKing. Maybe keep your eye on this one, Sally, and then also AION 5100. I think you'll be able to make a lot of money doing that. I am like losing my voice here, bro. There we go. The likes are back. Yay. All right. Another 20 memberships. Damn, bro. My boy over here. All right, Poe, man. You the big trade or something, bro? Just kidding, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Also, Todd Keaton said, talk some Casper for the new people. My time is up today, but I will talk Casper tomorrow. I do want to tell all of you guys, I would highly, if you're into trading, do me a favor. Come join our Discord, okay? That link is in the description of the video. And you know what? I will actually drop the Discord link into... Where's Discord? There we go. Join our Discord. Okay, once you're in there, let me do this. Join our Discord. Once you're in there, if you like trading and you want like swing signals and scalp signals, this was just from this morning, okay? These are all trade setups that you get, scalp signals that you get, market analysis with charts and breakdowns. You get updates, and you also get our trades. This is the only place we're going to post our trades. Now, of course, on the live show, we'll show people, hey, we put in this trade. This is how much we made. But before the trade is put in, what we're looking at, you'll get all of that here. And the only way you get access to this VVIP channel is to get verified. And the only thing you got to get verified is to sign up to buy DeFi with our link, deposit $100 of your money that you can use to trade, and that's it. We're not taking any money from it. We're not asking you for your money. We just want you to deposit your own money into your own account, use it to trade, to make money, and you get access to all these cool features and all of our trades as well. But at the very least, definitely join the Discord. That is where we post all of our announcements, giveaways, everything else that we do. So if you haven't done so, do that. Also, those of you that were in our Patreon that were getting the trading signals there, I just saved you $50. I saved you $50. All you got to do is, if you already have the account with Buy DeFi and you've already deposited $100, just go to that channel, the Get VVIP Access channel, click here and enter your UID from Buy DeFi, and it'll automatically grant you access to get all these channels. And so if you like trading, highly, highly recommended. A lot of value there. And again, it doesn't cost you a dime. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I love each and every one of you. I will see you here tomorrow, same time at 2 p.m. Eastern time, or excuse me, 2 p.m. Pacific. If you enjoy news and you like a news style show, kind of like a First Take, Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp, you got one crazy rambling guy, Robin, who doesn't know what he's talking about. And you got one kind of grounded guy who knows a little more than the other guy knows. If you're into those kind of shows, more of a back and forth news style, come watch our morning show. If you're into just charts and trading, this is the show for you. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And I'll see you tomorrow.